fresh, everything limber and ready to go. And speaking of ready to go, we're ready to go. We got John out and Blank to cover the first match of the day here of day 2 of PMGC.
And we're going right on into it. Thank you very much, Jason, and the guys on the desk looking fine as hell as ever. But we're going to be going over Erangel, apparently, in this first game of the day to kick things off. Next Ruya still sat at the top.
I honestly, every time we get that cheering from the crowd, it puts me off for just a little bit. I'm like, whoa, who's cheering, right? Is it for me? No, it's for
Get
the
out my
team.
kitchen.
No, what? Are you from the kitchen right now? You got your kitchen studio on? Look, these teams, they've been cooking up some big points today and yesterday. They're looking to go for gold. That's Nova in particular. But look at this, average points in our angle. Next Ruya with 17 average points. What are these numbers?
It is fairly nuts. Over 6 games as well. That's impressive to being able to keep it up over that 15-point mark. I mean, generally at the top spot, you do see just sort of hovering, I think sort of 14s, 13s towards the end of these series. So the question is how much more distance can they go on this average? Because it is right now phenomenal to be able to keep up a 17-point average. We'll see if they're able to repeat that performance, but plenty of other teams fighting at their heels, Blaine.
Absolutely, and welcome to day 2. I know the desk is doing a fantastic job at, introducing this, what's all going down, making sure to get all those juicy little extras in there as well. There's going to be some extras here on the broadcast, so make sure you're checking out for those lower thirds, those little graphics coming out on the screen. We'll let you know exactly what they do mean. Stalwart on our screen at the moment, down towards Nova Rep Neuer. This is day 2, match 7, our angle.
Slow and steady for the start of it, but a south circle is going to be given to us. No one really heading too far north of the river just yet, but I expect Team Secret to be blasting out that way. A lot of military island is in this circle, but likely going to have to move away from that position, try and reposition away from there. The Infinity, Stalwart, both going to have to make those moves. No one hot dropping with them this time around, but Navi and Godlike pretty close to one another, as is Team Secret vying for those vehicles.
Yeah, looking for them nice and early here, trying to pick up whatever they can. They are fairly surrounded at this point in time, though. I believe we do have our first knock and flush of the game coming through very shortly over towards the top side of North George. So we'll see what actually happens over there with Matic being very much out of the way. Here's Fredo, goes down. That will be quite a quick flush coming through.
I mean, we saw Navi have a little bit of strength displayed towards the end of yesterday's games. It's good to see them coming back on in. Maybe they're packing those new PMGC Scar L skins that Seven was talking about on the desk in those PMGC premium crates. Maybe.
Yeah, you would expect Silas Pew Pew to have the laser skin, right? That would make sense to me. Maybe he can clutch it out with this one, but it is 6-8 in him, all in his lonesome with the Sharks encircling him at the moment. See if he can get away. I'm not sure about it. He does have some fair bit of loot on hand, 3 first aid kits, so he can weather the storm just a little bit, but when you got 4 rifles looking your way, a little bit more spicy than you might have liked.
Yeah, it's at least 3 peppers on the menu, It's not looking good.
3 peppers?
3 peppers.
Spicy. What kind of peppers are we talking?
Oh, chili pepper. Like on a menu for a takeaway?
Yeah.
When you get anything that spices, certainly in England, I don't know
Oh,
about
right.
around the rest of the
3
world.
peppers. Well,
Like
to be
the 3
fair,
peppers on the menu.
Oh, I've got you. Well, to be fair, at the moment, we've got Silas Pugh. He's currently been the ghost pepper at the moment, staying out of dodge, staying hidden, staying a little bit ethereal here. And he's actually able to get out of the way of 6-8. They don't check that rooftop, but worried there might be some more teams. In the meantime, S2G have actually been able to get into position. This is really, really good stuff. Nice regroup there. Next Ruya flies through with a Vector on board. Ice shot immediately hits the deck. Team Secret not having a good start to their game here. Already down 2 players.
Moving on through, and of course, if you're watching live and seeing them move through, you can earn those rewards with the Grand Finals Treasure Box, available until January 30th. So you've still got 8 more days. Got a little bit of time. Got a little bit of time to be getting that on.
In the meantime, S2G have managed to get out of dodge. This is great stuff for them. That's one of those awkward beginnings where things could go bad. But now with 6-8 heading on Quarry side, which is their general drop spot regularly for all leagues, now S2G can pretty much take up position over towards Ferry Pier. Might be a little less standoffish between these 2 teams now as they head in separate directions. Nova, though, over towards Geka. Now, Seven was talking about them on the desk, how he's got to back them all the way. And, you know, I have to agree with Seven. I think Nova has been having a big step up. I think next Ruya, there was perhaps a little bit of some misgivings there towards Miramar. Honestly, it was one of those weird things where you're rotating. Sometimes you get a player shot out the vehicle, and that is just the way it goes on Miramar, sadly. For Nova, on the other hand, though, they're still slightly behind in terms of points. 9 points behind, but 10 now with that additional elimination coming through in this game from next Ruya. But we'll see how things go down.
Still the lion's share of these games left to play, of course, with 12 still yet to be played. Look at that. Jumper trying to give the camera the slip as well as everyone else.
I'm leaving. You can't follow me. Fortunately, we're stuck to his back like a magnet.
Oh dear, yeah. It's unfortunate for him that we have complete control of what we look at in this game. Down one, very, very central near Potato Hill in this sort of the logging compound there. They should just be fairly safe and secure for now. The question is, where does the next shift go? It's a great launching point for rotations into the future of their game.
Yeah, and I mean, with Down one having a lot of success recently with that central playstyle, this circle's a little bit more favorable towards them. Can move over towards Pachinki side, but most likely won't, knowing that Enigma Galaxy holds that. I think they played on that north side, but we will be getting a Paraboy interview here, John.
It's going to be covering
对于我来说，可能会自己站在一个更大一个舞台上，然后再次获得了一个冠军，再一次的荣誉加深。粉丝的话，可能是大家再一次的为我高兴，再一次的欢呼。
There you are. A couple of wise words from the man himself, the top MVP candidate right now, Paraboy.
Well, I mean, he's looking fine. He's looking good. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? You look good in game, you look good out of game. That's the way to be. That's right now, boys. I am a Paraboy simp. That's how it works. No, the guy is generally very well spoken and tends to hold himself very well on camera and in game, and I think that's a very admirable thing to be able to do. Though he has had a lot of experience with that type of work also, so it does make sense in a way. Hopefully, Nova continue to put up those kind of performances. I do think that if we look at the stats, Order has also been putting in a massive amount of work for that team, so it's no longer just all on Paraboy's shoulders, which is lovely to see. And this is typically when Nova start to do very well. A7, though, just not having the best of luck with these rotations at the moment. They look a little bit clumsy, a little bit messy. I'm not sure I like to see it.
Oh, it's unfortunate they're getting cut down. One of the players going down. To a Team Secret player as well, who've lost 2 so far. Another team is taking shots right now as they start to rotate. Actually, fairly centrally. We've got about 5 teams pretty much in the center here on the southeast side of Pachinki, sort of trying to control these areas. 4 rivals sending into a position. Going to be pretty close to Fenerbahce here, though.
I mean, these rotates typically are pretty decent for 4 rivals, and I'll mention it again because I think 4 rivals is a team that typically can get to that 20-minute mark, right? They stick around. They're a stick-around team, and that's typically what happens in most of these games. And I would say that they are a middling of the pack team. They get towards the end of the game, and again, it's just that case of get this first good positioning, and then there is almost a hesitation to actually hit anywhere else. Right now, they're taking shots over towards S2G, though. I'm happy with this. Cannot fault them for it. Trying to do a little bit damage down towards that compound itself and maybe make a home for themselves later. Pretty grim circle so far, but can it get grimmer, John?
I would imagine so. If it goes... Oh, I would say that's probably one of the grimmer shifts. I think having that split across the mainland and that military island, I imagine the Infinity... what do you do here? I mean, do you want to commit to being on that mainland, or are you going to bank on having that path down to a south shift if it comes through?
I mean, typically, if I'm playing at a high level here, I am banking on the northern coast, just because there are so many more compounds over towards Sosnovka on that northern side that you can pick up, play on the beachhead. So it's much easier to rotate from north to south Whereas if you've got like a position where you can fairly easily hold on the north side, you don't want to give that up right too early. Because if we do get this shift towards that northern side, then you're not going to be in the worst of worlds. If it shifts down to the south, again, you're not going to be the worst of worlds. You're going to be easily finding a position on Sosnovka. So at the moment, we have Team Secret still up in Severny, though. Godlike coming down from Yasnaya. Now, Jason said something very important on the desk, and I absolutely agree, is that, it is kind of like that Drake meme. It's like, not Godlike, it's Team India. And that's absolutely right, because these guys have got a lot of pressure riding on their shoulders. But similarly, because I was taking a look at some of the Hindi comments coming through, and there is actually a huge amount of support coming through from this team. Even sat down here in 16th at the moment, there is a massive amount of support being shown by the fans, which is just wonderful to see. And I think that they understand that this is time to get back to a global level. And yes, there have been setbacks, but I think Godlike isn't putting out a horrendous performance, right? It hasn't looked as if like they are just a non-plus in this lobby.
They aren't lost, right? It's good. It's good. And 22 points on 6 games. I mean, that's more than I'd get, to be fair. But
True,
that's not a very high bar to get over, to be fair, as well. But still, 22 points over 6 games, very much in conversation to be jumping up fairly far. I mean, all the way up to 10th. That's still within that range over those first 6 games. There's still 12 games left to play. They still have so much more time to adapt, to improve, to really put that work to the test.
Now, if I can say something maybe a little bit negative, but not too negative, more constructive, I'd say, because I do agree with Max in a way, is that a lot of BGMI, a lot of that playstyle is very much stack heavy, right? You move around as a unit, you take team fights as a unit, and I think that is just a regional style. However, at the moment, even with that regional style, I do think Godlike's looking a little bit impatient at times. And I think if they change that, they would probably be quite the formidable team. We saw them take fights against Stalwart yesterday on Miramar, and they looked pretty good for it. There was just a little bit of that impatience, which left a lot on poor Jonathan's shoulders towards the end of that fight. And I think that fight could have gone a lot differently, personally. And this is why I say that they're not a non-plus. I mean, when you've got 16 of the best teams, someone has to be in 16th, and it's no marker of your particular skill. It is just the way of the game.
Kid trying to move through from the north side. They went all the way back up to Severny. Now it's like Jumper not going to have the best of luck there, going down. Getting eliminated. Kid still yet to make it in. Was pretty low on health as well. The next shift just about to come through, and it is the mainland, so no chicanery around those bridges.
Yeah, and this is why you see no one heading down towards that South Island. Like I said, that there are so many places on North Erangel where it's difficult to get the heel dug in, right? And that's what you absolutely need to do here. And if you give up those positions, someone's going to take it. Damwon coming up on Godlike's position. There is a fair few players behind them, but Scott already goes down, though.
Oh, they're trading 1-for-1. Junie spraying around on the swivel, and Godlike fall at the hurdle. Damwon Gaming only have 1 knock as well. Excellent hold there, excellent position, and great crossfires. I think we've seen that from them before in these garage buildings. The crossfires from Damwon are so strong.
Exactly. Now, the thing is I can bring this back a little bit further again, and it's that impatience. You have Clutch God in the building. You see Damwon flit out from the left side. They have all 4 players on that building before you're even in contention. And at that point, there needs to be that step back from whoever is IGLing on the team at that time to say, we can afford to lose 1 player. And I think that, sacrifices do sometimes have to be made in these matches if you want to be making the most out of these points. Now, Godlike, respectable as it is, they do go down as a team every single time, but I would much prefer to see them as a 2. We saw Stalwart pull off something similar to that yesterday on Miramar, playing as a 2 and getting 5th place. That's actually quite a few placement points that you were accruing and getting that consistency on board, which is why I say that about Godlike, is that their mechanical skill and rotations look strong, but it's sometimes that inability to pull back and look at the bigger picture.
6-8 under fire from Nova, and the Infinity are right next to them on the hillsides as well. Newsy looking to put the nade on through. Daoshi out wide. Spots got Tony up the top, but doesn't drop him just yet. Newsy under threat, and he is just going to get rolled straight on over. A little bit too bold there from Newsy. And the Infinity lose a player 6-8. They want to take this fight with the Infinity. They want to keep going. Nades up the top of Godtunny and Logan. Up to bat against Dao Shi. The nade over the top looks good, but across the way, Mela has the back of his teammates. And the Infinity might just survive for a little bit longer. Dao Shi down.
Fantastic bloody angle here from Mela. I don't know how he got over this side, but he is tearing 6-8 apart as we speak. Dao Shi hits the deck.
Oh,
That's a beautiful nade to finish it off. You know, you can never really count the Infinity out, especially when they play these off angles so damn well. And now, 6-8, just down to 33Z in the shack all alone, and there's bullets coming in his direction. He's going to get pincered. I don't think he's long for this world.
the nades as well from Mela. Instrumental in that last engagement for the Infinity. 33Z's position is fully known now. Nades still sending on through. Maybe going to be able to post one of them, but the smoke is there, and the spray is good. Godtunny tickles him. 33Z pushes out the back, knows he needs to take one fight or other, and Mela's going to be the choice that he makes. 33Z out in the open, and it's just going to get cut down. Mela, beautiful position, beautiful play. The Infinity very proud of that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen unless they have Mela involved in that fight. That should have been an easy team wipe for 6-8, but they didn't compensate for that player in the back. And who would, let's be realistic, who would compensate for a player over towards the shack on your backside and completely separate from the team? Down one, hit the Wizard Tower, but Nova is here to receive them. And Junie from Jimmy just gets shot out from underneath the truck.
Oh no, 3 players already down. Junie is going to bleed out there. Fabian, no way of getting that one back up. Down one gaming, 3 players alive. Is it the cost that they were willing to pay for this center circle position? I mean, if you've got one player in there and nobody else now as the remaining players get swept up into the point tallies of other teams. Fabian, last player, is it worth it? Losing those 3 players to get this position? I gotta think it isn't.
Absolutely not. Nice Molotov comes through as well and burns at Fabian's feet. See if he gets away from the burns on this one. But honestly, yeah, I wouldn't say it's worth it. It's worth it if you can get at least 3 players alive, because there's no hope in hell now that Fabian holds that alone. A7 coming against Next Ruya, so it's the Battle of the West here. A7 trying to put themselves back on top, but Next Ruya doing a good job of it. Frozen takes down 1. Again, A7's coming into this fight with 3 after their little skirmish with Team Secret earlier on.
With an early knock against Next Ruya, that allowed Alpha 7 to even the numbers just that little bit. And now it's only Yekta left for Next Ruya. Mafioso gets that res onto Center Texa. Rio. Very close by, and actually, they're taking shots over towards Furious Gaming as well on this northern side. And at the moment, Next Ruya really struggling. Frozen crawling back to the bunker. I think Korea might just figure out what's going on here. Or maybe not, because he's more preoccupied with Dick Xavier.
Absolutely no idea what's going on at the moment from A7. They're completely clueless to this, but A7, I think they have the bead now, but they still just careen on past. Next Ruya have stayed hidden in the bunkers.
Okay, and they managed to get the res in the meantime as well. Frozen's got the heal off, and now Alpha 7. Sure, they've taken down 2 players from Next Ruya, but when Frozen's involved, you never know what can happen. Nades over the top, and Carrillo is going to find out that they're still alive. He knows, but they know as well. And Carrillo looks for more, can't quite find the shift off there, but Frozen's up for 1, and it's just Mafioso left now for Alpha 7. A nade, a Molotov over the top, and Carrillo can't crawl backwards. Can he pay back Yekta for the res from earlier? Center Texa is bleeding out as well. Mafioso needs these reses.
It's a fantastic Molotov being sent through once again, which is going to stop anyone from getting close to res up Carrillo. So what Next Ruya at the moment are trying to make happen is a 2v2 fight there. I love this from Frozen, constantly thinking ahead. So what though, down to just 1 in action. See if he can keep this dream alive for them, but Fenerbahce raining just destruction upon their heads.
Right on the top there with those nades. So difficult to move, and they will be going down. Out eliminated, 13th place. The circle shifts centrally. So everybody on those edges are going to have to move. Next Ruya will have to move through this engagement that they've been in for a while now. Fenerbahce a little bit on the back foot here. Enigma Galaxy are in the way on the northern side, but Navi vying for these hilltops.
think with Navi playing from North George, they've done a fantastic job to just slip in unnoticed, honestly, at this point in time. Meku with an unbelievable shot from along the way will take down that player from Furious Gaming. And I think this is what everyone wanted to see from Navi, is a little bit more pacing towards the beginning of the game before they unleash the beast in the end game itself. And I love to see it for one personally, John. I don't know about you. Enigma Galaxy, though, they're on that northern side, still with 4 players alive, and I really respect this. I do think that Enigma Galaxy has this little hidden ability to find their way into circles, which probably no one else would find those gaps within.
Somehow they're like the octopodes, as you'd like to say, the plural of, whatever the plural of octopuses is. But I have no idea. Oh dear, that's a cut down and a half. S2G, take care of Fenerbahce, send them packing.
Back their way. 4 rivals. It's that 20-minute mark, and now it's time for the Hail Mary, I would imagine. This is typically what happens for rivals, but maybe it'll change. Yetka goes down, Frozen finds the high ground, and once again, this man clutches it when no one else can.
Puts the enemies on ice and keeps his team alive. With 2 players as well, they can still keep on moving through this terrain. They do have DXavier to their south and Enigma Galaxy to their west, but Enigma Galaxy, they've been taking a fight, and they've been taking punishment. Navi a little bit further across the way, and there's shots ringing out across these hills.
So typical to 2020 Navi of just sweeping from one side of the map, be it west or east. Really good stuff. The Infinity next on the list, though. Tixie's moving up, and I don't think he has any idea of where Logan or God Tunny currently are. Starts to look in their direction now, though, with a nade and smokes in hand.
Yeah, they're going to know now. The nades start to come through from the Infinity. And they are just going to back it off. Tixie doesn't want to take this trouble. But downhill, he's got a teammate, and now Meku's a little bit isolated into the fight. A nade over the top finds God Tunny, and Logan now last standing for, well, not last standing actually, sorry. Mella's off in the distance, as he was in their crucial engagement, but this time around not going to be quite as useful. Doesn't have those sight lines. God Tunny goes down. Logan spotted out. Matic gets the first tag, but it's Tixie to do the job.
Picks it up there. Nova's still on that south side, but there are shots raining through from S2G, who are just whistling them past Nova at the moment. I'm practically here the heat of the bullet pass by their ears. 4 rivals went for that Hail Mary towards the center of the map. They're fairly open, to be quite honest with you. And with so many teams around you, it's a little bit of a dangerous spot, but they can hold on to it. It will be a wonderful play here made by them.
DXavier mounting up, moving central. They have 4 rivals ahead of them in S2G. At the back, Rabiz trying to suppress, but here comes the wave from S2G. Seven said he wanted to see more from this team. We'll see if they're going to start to stand up today, see if they've developed, but the first goes the way of Duck for DXavier. And around the side, they're not finding anything in response. Rabiz, sure, he's taken damage, but Lamborghini's pushing that nade to the back there, keeping them bunched up, knowing they don't have the off angles. Finally, a knock comes in response, but Lamborghini's gained ground in the meantime. Rip 7 falls, Silas Poor crawling forwards, maybe looking for Lamborghini, but Timber getting that res on the back line. DXavier keeping themselves cohesive as well. Nice. Frankie falls. Lamborghini now in the sights of Silas, but he falls to a drop shot. Duck knocked in the meantime, and it's 3 players down for DXavier. Timber last for S2G as he pushes through, and Lamborghini gets dunked on. S2G stay alive with 3.
That sports car comes to a halting stop there at the end of that fight between S2G as well as the boys from DXavier. Unfortunate stuff. Navi, though, now trying to mount some kind of position, but they're playing uphill. Can they trudge their way up this muddy hillside to 4 rivals position, who are playing king of the hill at the moment?
4 rivals, they've been that centerpiece of this circle for quite a while now. And RV have other ideas. Meku still on that off angle. Nova, a difficult push from the south.
It's come through. Finds a really nice one on the Rith there. That'll take them down to just 3. And already some more bullets been sent their way. Great angle here from Meku as the rest of the team storm the position. And 4 rivals have nothing in return.
Tixie just moves forwards, a hot knife through the butter of this terrain. Pamburu in this smoke could prove to be tricky, but S2G They're pressuring the other side, caught in a vice grip. Four rivals need to turn to diamonds now, as Jason would say, but S2G now up to fight with Navi. Four rivals still have their player alive. Enigma Galaxy, a side quest right now for Navi, but there is still a little bit of damage to be taken. Nova moving up to the back as well, as S2G have to turn their attention elsewhere as well. And Navi, Nova, all pushing for the top, and Pempuru. Oh, the drop shot's just too good, just there in time, and does go down. Four rivals down in fourth. Navi cut down as one player knocked on the sidelines. Nova struggling to move up here as S2G are going to get taken out as well. Two teams remain.
Though Jimmy will bring King back up in action, and Nova has bided their time to pick up the high ground once again, whilst Navi takes the fair brunt of a lot of the teams looking their way. And we felt like Navi was the main character here, but it's Nova who's on the main story quest line at the moment, looking to take down Navi here. King up on their feet, but it's 3 versus 4. Navi's gonna have to pull something absolutely unbelievable out the pocket here to make this happen.
The good news for Navi is that they have the circle under their control, but with 4 players, those sightlines are so valuable for Nova. Saw Navi start to step up at the end of yesterday. It seems like they've carried that momentum, and Order goes down first. Excellent spray coming through from Tixi to suppress one of the crucial members of Nova, and damage being sent uphill as well. No knocks being found either way just yet, but Paraboy is low, and with the blue at the back, needs to start moving. Cannot afford to take any more damage. Navi keeping it together now. The pressure hopefully won't get to Paraboy falls as well, and King and Jimmy left to stand tall for Nova. The 2 players who have lost their main fraggers here, but they are great in their own right. Meku Kitsune down the hill, looks for the shots, but Tixi's moved out wide, and King now up for the sidelines, finds Tixi. 1 versus 2. Kitsune and Meku for Navi against King for Nova, and he's low already. They know his position. They know exactly what's going on here, and it's only a matter of time before Navi take the chicken dinner.
Navi looking like a well-trained robot in those last moments. They had designated positions they were pre-programmed to head over towards. The split there at the end was just mechanical. You love to see it, honestly, coming through from Navi. And they played that game practically perfectly. Even down to 3, they knew what they had to do in that